Rachel, so let's just invite her. Every time I type on my phone, it looks like and that would be awkward. Okay, so I've just invited Rachel, House of Panero, to the chat. But hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. How are you doing this morning? Tell me what you're up to. Is anyone sewing? I have been doing a nifty little bit of sewing. It's a great excuse, actually, to get out in my summer house nice and early, this quick unpick. So I've just been sewing the waistband on my trousers, but I'm seeing that there's a problem. So I need to unpick and fix that again. Okay. Oh, I think Rachel's there. Is she there? There we are. It's coming through. Hello, hi everyone. Big waves from me too. Come on then. Sorry, it's for some reason I keep accepting and it's not going through. Oh gosh, wait 1 second. Sorry guys. It now says that she's unable to join. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Hey! Yay! Hi,
Yay!
Rachel!
Hi! Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I love it. You've got the headphones and everything.
I know, it's been crazy. I haven't used all this tech. I feel like I lost it. I don't know how to do it anymore.
So welcome to Quick Unpick. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel like almost like a fraud. I haven't been sewing that much and then people want to know what I've been sewing. I feel like I'm going to get everyone bored.
Oh, but it's, as I said in my post, it's because you're the OG sewing superstar, and I want to hear how you are and what you're up to, and you know, it doesn't have to even be about sewing. This is just a catch up for me.
Yeah, and that's what when you said, yeah, definitely, because I miss kind of the community, and for me, you know, I feel privileged that you even refer to me as such a big sewing, because for me, I see sewing as a hobby that is just so. And like it's so open for every level that you don't have to sew to the highest standard to have the greatest time ever. So when people think I've done quite well, and sometimes I feel I did well, but sometimes I feel like I still have so much to learn.
Oh, believe me, when I first saw you at a sewing meetup, I was like a little kid. I was like, oh my God, Rachel's here.
I feel like this with everybody, because everybody brings so much to the table, I think, in the sewing community, with their thoughts, with their ideas, creativity, skill, which is why I love it so much, because you really feel part of something bigger than just a hobby, right?
Definitely. And it's so true. Everyone has a little something to bring to the table, because, you know, we've all got completely different backgrounds, and it's such a lovely thing when we come together. And to be honest, at most sewing meetups, we don't talk about sewing at all, really, do we?
We don't. Which is great, because I feel like it's part of it's when you find your tribe, right? When you find people, and we don't have to think the same, we don't have to look the same, we don't have to like the same things or to express ourselves in the same way, but it's still the same tribe, because we can just connect us in a human being kind of level, isn't it?
Yes, totally. That's exactly it.
I'm loving so many people who's joining in, and I just want to say all the names that I recognize. Missed everybody.
Lots of kisses from me too. I find it really, I always want to focus on who I'm talking to, and then I'm like, oh, they just joined, and it's good. But yeah, lots of love to everyone. Thank you so much for being with us this Sunday morning. Is it a bit grey and drizzly with you?
Just started to come out a little bit of sunshine, and I packed the husband to the allotment and said, I'm going to have, go to the allotment. You're distracted. Yeah, no, it's been raining all night.
Every Sunday morning now, I'm like, right, you guys, you got to get out that house now. But it was nice, because I actually came out and did a bit of sewing this morning, which is brilliant. So.
I saw you showing where you just, is that like a top? Is what you showing?
I've just realised I've got some overlocking showing, so I've got some unpicking to do. But yeah, cool trousers, really cool.
They're really cool. Yeah, I love the print. It's very it's very happy and high energy, which is like is lovely. It's good to see as well your face, because you know, we see ourselves in the screens, and it's just, you want to see how people really are.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
just wait.
And that's why I started this, because I was like, I just miss people, and if I can chat to them and other people can be a part of it, it's really like, that's exactly why I wanted to do it. So yeah. Right, well, I want to know, how have you been what have you been up to? What have you been doing?
And no, it's been crazy. I've been kind of offline. I feel like over the years, I felt more and more connected to intentions. So what intention I want to do. So be present to things. And I was finding myself mindless doing things like scrolling the internet, and even like the kind of you end up having so many projects on the go and lots of collaborations. It's like, what is the intention of that? Because sewing is such a powerful thing for yourself, to push yourself, to challenge yourself, to learn, constantly learn something. So I felt like I needed to be offline, and then I just went completely fall out of the internet.
Yeah.
And it's been really good, because it gives me a lot more time to focus on stuff that I really love. Like I love reading, and I was just like giving myself to other hobbies. My swimming, which is like, I like it's this thing, like I can only focus one thing. I had a phase of sewing was my, single-minded sewing, and now I'm challenging myself with my swimming, in my vegetable growing, in my a spiritual journey, like learning and reading, and in my job. And it's just been like felt like I didn't abandon sewing. I just had to just shift in terms of priorities.
Definitely. And all of those things that you suggested, that you were talking about, are real self-love things, and sewing is that as well. So if you find that it's taking over, especially the social media side, and I totally find that, then you're not giving yourself chance for other self-love, and it's really important to do that. So that's really good that you kind of took yourself away from that and realized that you could be a lot happier doing other things as well.
Yeah. And also as well, image, isn't it? As you grow older, you don't realize how much exposed you are, right? Like I felt like I'd grown on the internet, because for 10 years, from my late 20s to my mid 30s, I was like online all the time. And I grown on the internet, like my skills from I have not to sew a button, like very, very clumsy person, to start sewing stuff, and felt like I've been growing, and I almost like self-exposed a little bit too much. And I was been finding my photos in stuff like firms that have nothing to do with sewing, like a Doctor Who. I had a Doctor Who costume, and it was on a Doctor Who site talking about this Doctor Who should be a woman. And I was like, I don't want to have my image in conversation. So I started being a lot more aware about where my image was.
Yeah.
And I started feeling like I kind of wanted to empower my own image to not be so on the internet. And I have felt very powerful of getting my image back. And as I got 40 over lockdown, I know, I didn't have a big 40 party at work. I said, I'm gonna have my big birthday. You're like, what's a big birthday, Rachel? I need a party, my big birthday. But yeah, over lockdown. But it's just, I feel like you're grown up. You're the way you see yourself is different as well.
Definitely.
Even at what I wear, I don't know how you feel about, like, after you become a mother. It's such a life-changing experience. How do you feel, like, your overall sense of self and style? How do you feel?
The first time last week in so long, and that was quite strange for me, because I've gone practical first now, and I mean, jeans and jumpers is what I live in, and I never used to be that. I don't think I even owned a pair of jeans before I was pregnant.
I saw your jeans from D&Do, wasn't it? D&Do that you just made. It looked amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, it does totally change. And also, getting older, you just get your priorities a bit, they get in order, and I think that's actually really lovely. And I always, I have quite a few friends that are worried about growing older, and I love it, because you kind of know yourself better, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, so
you it's almost like on your teenager years, you're influenced by your tribes, your group of friends. You start learning yourself. When you get in your 20s, you start testing yourself to see, what you like. And you start discovering yourself. And your 30s, you start to really love who you are. And in your 40s, you're like, really, really is when you prime of how you realize the person yourself and
Yeah.
your self-worth, and you value that. It's kind of like a crazy journey, I think, for women, especially as we go older. We lose a lot of our growing up insecurities, and we really start to learn who we are.
Yeah.
And find
Bring up.
ourselves. I know, like, and I think, I love growing older. I feel like the more I grow older, the more I appreciate things, and other things don't matter. And you think, wow, it's so powerful to grow older. How do you find yourself, like, being a mother? Did you find what was the experience for you? And now coming back.
I definitely lost myself for a bit, because when you when you have a baby, you suddenly just have another main focus, and your own focus just completely melts away. And it does for the people around you as well, which I wasn't expecting. But suddenly my mum didn't care how I was, she cared how my baby was, and which is to be expected, but it was really different. She's not like that at all, but I'm just giving an example because mum's probably watching this going, I did care, and she was amazing. So not my mum.
I'm sure.
Not my mum, but other mums. But it was very, very different, and things I didn't expect at all. And it's taken 3 years for me to actually feel like myself again, to want to kind of put myself out. I have my own health struggles as well, so I guess that was a big part of it. But it's been I'm loving this year, because I suddenly feel clear again. I just feel like I have a focus. I know what I want to do. I have drive, and I haven't had much kind of motivation either. All of my energy has been on my daughter, and is she well, is she happy, is she clothed, is she fed, all of that. And now I'm like, yeah, you are, we're all good now, we've got that set up, and now I'm gonna go on with me. And so I'm loving, this year just feels like a new beginning for me,
which is good. It's the lunar year of the water tiger, which is like renew, and I do love that, when you feel like there's a sense of renew. I think every year you start to, I think motivation, we should not really rely on motivation, because motivation goes and goes, but it's creating good habits of like how you're looking after yourself, creating good habits of how do you talk to yourself, see yourself. And I think that's kind of like, I thought it was something really cool I saw, was like behaviors, but then you have your thoughts and your beliefs and your perception and your experience and all that. When we have life changes, we really go through that turbulation of how do we perceive things, how do we think about things. And I'm learning so much about language, how language can influence ourselves and others, and I think all this is like so powerful when you put that instead of like motivation. But I totally get it. Sometimes we put ourselves in the little cocoon and let our brew until we're ready to come out, and when we're ready to come out, we come out
and be a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah, exactly.
I absolutely love that way of thinking as well, though, because motivation does come and go, and you can't depend on it at all. Whereas habits is something I've never really had. I've never had a system or anything. And this year, something that's changed a lot for me is learning about how to have habits. And so it's really interesting that you brought that up, because I've been watching lots of YouTube videos about it, and also just kind of learning for myself what works. Because I think what I used to do is set myself ridiculous targets that I was never, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to do a blog every day and all of this stuff. It's never going to happen. So about doing them in small chunks, about what you can achieve. And I think that's really inspiring that you were talking about that, because
I think for sewing is like this as well, isn't it? When you give yourself little tiny goals, because the thing is putting yourself in the routine, and one habit links to another. And I think that for a lot of people that they're busy, they have a lot of things to do, it's difficult to put like sewing time into their diaries. But if they get their 10 minutes, when they're making a cup of coffee, they were doing their meditation, but then they were doing something else, and it's like one habit links to another, and then you just do it. It's the same from a swimming. It's like, I don't want to wake up 5:30 every morning. I love swimming, but I love my bed a lot more. And it's like, if I think about it, I never want to go. I'm never going to get up. But it's like, I get up, I have my cup of coffee, and my cup of coffee, I do my mindfulness, like, or sometimes I like just read quick read of my emails, quick read the news, but never something like a big task that I need to put a lot of focus. Then finish the coffee, swimsuit, get out the house, like literally just the bag is next to the door, get out. You know,
No.
the swimsuits in the bathroom, like, is like one step links to another step.
Yeah.
To be able to do it, and then consistently do it. And once you're there, you get excited, you see your friends, and and then he's like, every time it gets tiring, you're like, just more 5 minutes, just more, 5 more length, 10 more length. And it's getting that, like, a little bit small achieved milestones links you to that. And it's actually a really cool science towards that in terms of our reward system in our body, that we get a little reward as those little goals. And it's the same with sewing. Every time we accomplish little things, we get that buzz. And that's why I think it's such a addictive hobby to have, because you get a little reward system as you complete different things, gives you enough challenges, but it's pushing yourself to try new things.
Oh, I love that. Is that to do with serotonin or?
Yes. So we have dopamine, we have dopamine and oxytocin, like we have different hormones, and I can't remember all the names because I'm not a scientist, but I can recommend really awesome podcasts and things like that tells you about reward systems, which really helps you to learn, because our body does not recognize what is good or what is bad for us in terms of our habits, right? So by looking at the habits in terms of so we will get the same kind of reward and buzz by doing good things or bad things. And it's kind of learning what to do to make our body get the reward to doing the right things, which is stuff that makes you feel good. And with the sewing, I feel like definitely we get kind of like that reward system really going on. That's why I feel is a once people start sewing, they really get to get excited. Yeah, it's addictive, but it's a good thing for you. But it's finding the habit of putting yourself to give you time to sew, or give you targets or crazy. I remember, like, I had crazy targets as like I need like the blogs, writing a blog be like X amount of time, like sort of putting pictures online, but then it's like you realize, well, what's my outcome here? Is like, I'm getting this addictive buzz of neuro, I can't remember it's complicated there, of the toxin that gives you that creates that adrenaline or serotonin, and then you just get that. So with yourself, with your sewing, if you use that positively, but because you can get a negative with likes and stuff on social media, and that was like, don't want that in my life. Let's get the bus from somewhere else.
No, true. It's really easy to fall into that, and then suddenly you find yourself just kind of chasing something that doesn't exist. But yeah, what I really love actually is now I come out here every night and I sew, even if I'm just doing like a little bit, or even picking up, and I sleep better. I feel happier if I come out every night. It just makes my whole life better. And I think that's the thing, like, when you lose your sojo or whatever, you're feeling a bit uninspired. I think that's because you've fallen off routine a bit. Like one night, agree. Totally, it shifts the whole dynamic of how I feel about it. So it is kind of, routine makes you happy. People say
it does. Because I think a lot of things we link productivity to happiness, and then people feel, you have to be productive to be happy. And I think that you don't have to be productive to be happy, but it's like the routine of something that you have a routine. So if you feel productive, you're having a routine, you'll be happy. And I think that's what you said, a routine. And if you depend on your willing to do something, your willpower, your sojo, as we call it, you end up like, if you waited that to come back, it's not. But by having a look at your patterns, tidying up your fabrics, talking to people that inspire you, having a quiet time, read a book, and then you put yourself a habit. I'm going to sit in my sewing room for 5 minutes every day. I'm going to sit in a sewing room. I have no target of sewing or anything. I'm just going to sit here and see what I'm going to, and then that grows into 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you start getting back to your sewing time.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I just thought, if I just come out here, I brought my iPad out and I just found myself watching TV in here, but it then made me turn around and go, oh yeah, I haven't finished that project. And like, it was so exactly that for me, that just coming to a different space and getting your mindset into a different place is really the key that unlocked my sojo. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, and I think that is what is good as well, because by talking to other people as well about the challenges that you're facing out, and it really helps with the sewing as well,
Mm,
doesn't it? Because
de-
sometimes, so for me, a big challenge for me with sewing is I have a wardrobe that's
mm,
full, right?
yeah,
And I change with exercise, with my routine, my exercise routine, my body changes really quickly. So it's almost like a commitment to sew something with my body changing all the time, to a wardrobe is full. Did you think, okay, then I have to sew other stuff that's not for myself, or I have to sew for other people? And then, but then it's like there's some joy in sewing for yourself. Sometimes, like, I don't have a joy sewing for other people unless I have a very inspirational. So, for example, I got I'm a recently new aunt, so I got a niece, she's 3 months old. So baby stuff is just being like,
oh,
it's the dream stuff because
yeah,
it's such a small project, so easy to get on. Working with jersey, which is quite a fabric that's forgiving, right? Like depending on your machine setting, because you can swear a lot if your machine setting is not working. But isn't it? So jersey is one of those fabrics that either you hate it or you love it, because if the machine is working well and you got the right needle and the settings are right and it's like zoom 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 done,
yeah,
and then sometimes it's like everything goes wrong and you're like
yeah,
distorted, waves it.
yeah, definitely. Who's that? I mean, since my overlocker came along, it's pretty much, I love sewing with jersey. But when you make a mistake on the overlocker, I mean, I'll be unpicking hours. So yeah,
It teaches you patience, doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
But
What?
that's the thing as well, sometimes the
Oh, sorry.
perfectionism of it, sometimes
Mm. They carry on. I want
we
to hear
go we're
about
going
perfection as
crossroads because
motivation.
our connection, yeah, the connection went bad. Sorry, Gabby, you carry on.
Oh no, you carry on. I'm loving all your chat about motivation. Tell me about that.
No, I think with I think with sewing sometimes social media put you those beautiful garments, and then that pressure of perfectionism all the time. I have to ump that, right? I have to keep upping my performance, and it's like sometimes I feel like we don't have to take our hobby to perfection. We
Mm,
can take our hobby to, well, it's wonky, but one day it's fine. But then I think a lot of people almost want to justify when something are not right,
mm-hmm.
and I feel like I think that's the problem when we share stuff online, is that almost like I had to justify instead of just, I like just to share the experience, what went wrong, what went right, or my mindset for that. I don't care, it's wonky, I don't care. And sometimes you do care. I had my learning journey. My first sewing teacher, she was extremely strict. She would make me unpick the tiniest, like, invisible mistake. If I wasn't really keen into sewing, I would have quit it, because it was like teaching you that kind. But that put me in a habit of making things tidy, and but I think it's almost like got to a habit of like, this is not the standard, you get upset about it, and you shouldn't. Just like you should have you should have fun as well. If it's rubbish, you should say it's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
Failure is a thing that I celebrate a lot in sewing, isn't it? You have to
yeah,
celebrate your failures.
yeah. I think it's really important. In fact, I always have my best chats with people when I'm talking about my failures. So it's really lovely, because I think that a lot of people come into the sewing community thinking that we all know what we're doing, and very quickly realize, oh no, we have no idea.
And I think as experience does not take you. If you're a very experienced person and you're not making mistakes, you're not pushing yourself. You're
Yeah,
not learning. You're not pushing yourself to do it. To explore your ability, because you're in a comfort zone, isn't it?
yeah.
And it's, for me, I have some really hilarious failures. One of my first was because I used to love loads of crazy prints, and I was like, oh, let's make a fur pair of trousers, right? And it has like a
Ah,
paisley,
the trousers.
so it's like it has a paisley design.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I had it was nicely nicknamed Cat Crotch, because it looked like ovaries and a cat in my crotch. I actually have still that pair of trousers because it makes me so ridiculously happy that I like that is just the, even if I wanted to have that design by imagination, I wouldn't have got it so kind of perfectly. Hilarious, horrible, but funny. Pockets as well. I have a lot of problems with pockets because I'm Brazilian, but I have no behind. So pockets, I don't look good in trousers. Pockets is always a nightmare for me. I never get pockets right. My husband always like laugh at when I put pockets on my trousers. I always have disasters with pockets, or back pockets especially.
Bless you. Well, I have to say, all of your sewing that I've seen always looks completely flawless. So it's really nice to hear about.
No, it's not. Start picking up all the stuff that's scrap. But you know, that's the thing. You have to, if you don't have failures, you don't get success, right? You got to get failures. You have to make all this crap. I think I remember, if I would look at my first, second year of sewing, I had some pieces that are really beautiful because it was done with really lots of time, with support from my sewing teacher. As like, when you get a lot of support, you get quite good, and they teach you patience, you get quite a good, and you have some that your stuff that you just literally just turning it around, but then you're getting your habit of how to hold the fabric. You're getting your experience by, and then that turn, you know, the quality of the garment might not be good, but the quality you get just by practicing, isn't it? Practicing it all the time.
Yeah. So I didn't know that you, so did you do kind of years of learning to sew as well?
When I started really late, right? I started in 2009. And I think a lot of people kind of know that I had a really bad back injury. Yeah. It was spontaneous, but I had my first surgery and I was at home. So it's kind of like loads of time to do nothing because I was away from work, trying to recuperate. And I said, do you know what? I really would like to learn how to sew. So I joined an adult education course, and my husband got me a machine that I didn't need to use my legs because my right leg was really bad. So I could just sew with pushing a button with my hand.
Yeah.
And it was like in the evening for 1-2 hours, and I started doing that adult education. And then I have all this time at home, so I was just sewing crap after crap, just trying to get stuff. You get all the fabrics wrong. Oh, I have hilarious pictures of not knowing all the sewing mistakes you can do in one garment. Not knowing your shape, not knowing your fabrics, not knowing your personal style. And then because I pick a pattern that is like, oh, I want to learn how to do puff sleeves. I want to learn how to do Peter Pan collar. I want to learn how to do this, and I want to learn. But none of those things match my style, my body shape, what I want to say about myself, the fabric. So I have a shiny curtain. It was like a curtain fabric. I don't even know it was what it was at the moment because I can't remember the fabric exactly, but I just remember it was very shiny and it was supposedly to be cushions or something. And I made like a puff baby doll, which is like empire waist, which is the worst for hourglass. Peter Pan color, big sleeves, puff 80s, like a totally in the 80s moment, that shiny 80s. But I learned how to do a Peter Pan color. I learned how to put sleeves on, and but you know, I was turning stuff, and then the more I was pushing myself to do it, then I started getting more involved, more courses and education, and I ended up doing like loads of specialist courses. But just because the pushing myself, not having a fear about all the crap I was putting out, because I was just going on a crazy learning journey. And I think so much when I popped up on the internet, I was already very prolific because I was just going. And I think that's the best way, is just be very prolific when you start, just to get the fear out. Have you made something that you really like still remember that was a big failure?
Yeah. Oh, a lot of them. And also things that I've never worn because I finished it and I'm like, oh, what? This isn't for me. Quite a lot of it went to my sister at the beginning because I remember her being like, well, you wouldn't wear this, but I would. So, but yeah, I think that getting rid of the fear and trying stuff is the best way you can start. Totally. And make things that you're not going to wear just to learn a technique is brilliant. I love that. And also, absolutely adore the fact that, you know, you had this horrible accident and that happened, but that it led to one of your greatest loves. How wonderful is that?
I think that's it. Like life doesn't bring you things that you can't deal with. I think that we grow from challenges. We grow from things like difficult things that happen in our life, and it's our mindset to say, okay, I have something that happened to me that wasn't my fault, or well, why me? There's no why anyone else, right? You could anything could happen to anyone, and you have to say, you know, how can I make things? How do I see the situation for myself? And I think all my life has been quite like this. Is every time there is a challenge, like how can I see myself as an opportunity for this situation? And I think that's why failure is so important. If you don't get a failure, you don't push yourself up. And I think that every failure you get, not every failure, but every challenge, every difficulty, every time you're outside your comfort zone, you get better from it. So.
Definitely. Oh, I completely agree with that. And how is your back now, by the way? Because obviously, hopefully the swimming.
It's good now with this. I think it's sport, and I think like you know, the good habits, right? Eating the right things to nourish the body, exercising like with something that's just strengthening the body. But I think it's all connected, like body and mind.
Yes.
So getting the body strong, getting the mind strong together, that and I think that's what resilience give you. You know, you get good resilience from getting your body strong. Your body is not about how you look; it's how you feel, how you energy, like how do you move through the world, how you get yourself ready, you know, for another challenge, because life is going to be like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
how do you feel that you dealt with your, and I know, you know, you share some of your health situations. I know that it's like sometimes when you talk about things that are so private, right, like challenges that we face that are so private, it's hard, isn't it, because you want to share something with people, but sometimes you want to keep something yourself because you're dealing with that. How do you find yourself?
I'm a very open person, so most people know all these stories anyway.
Yeah.
And again, I'm like, I'm not in the mood. I don't want to go there. But no, I mean, for me, when I first discovered I had cancer, I was 22, and I was very much kind of living in the middle of nowhere with my parents, trying to be a singer-songwriter. And it wasn't until I got better that I was like, right, I need to take life by the balls or whatever. And I moved to London and became, you know, got a band together and stuff. So it properly drove me to what my life became. So I am actually really like thankful, I guess, for that challenge, and it's flared up twice since, and both of those times I've learned a lot from as well, and also just met people on the way that have really kind of helped me grow, or I've maybe helped them, which has been incredible as well. So yeah, I think every class.
And how are you feeling? You feeling okay? How's your health at the moment?
Yeah, I'm good, although my eyelid is swollen and I keep looking at it going, what is going on?
We can't see on the screen. You always look gorgeous.
But yeah, no, I think I have a lot more tests and stuff coming up, so I'll never kind of be able to close that book, because it's the type of thing that does reoccur. So who knows, but at the moment, all is good.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think there's it, isn't it? We don't know what cards we're going to get dealt, right, in life. And is like, there is an opportunity to do something with it. And your strength really show to people. And I think that's inspired people as well, isn't it? Because you share that so openly. So, you know, the courage and strength to go and share it, all that journey with others, you know, it's really powerful. And as well, you know, you have a family, and I think, you know, you got it's hard because when we are just ourselves, we fear for ourselves, but when you have responsibilities, like when something is bigger than ourselves, you know, fear gets bigger, isn't it? Yeah. It's like you're not doing just for, you know, for yourself. You're fighting for the life of like the life you created and your family.
Oh, Rachel, don't make me cry.
Oh no, I don't want to make you cry.
I was like, quick Unpick, it's going to be really light and we're just going to chat about
Oh, yeah, we should do fluffy stuff. Let's talk about...
I mean, we're actually, like, we're out of time anyway, but it's just so, honestly, like, whenever I speak to you, you're actually you're such an inspiring person. I'm really, really thankful that you've given us all that unbelievable value. And I think everyone will come away from this feeling like they've learned something about themselves. So that's really, really lovely. I feel very honored that you came and talked to me about all that. So
I'm
yeah,
really, really happy. Thank you so much for inviting me, and everyone that's joined us on this
yeah,
Sunday. Hope you enjoy your coffee, your tea.
yes. And I'm just going to do two little things.
Okay.
First of all, thank you to Rainbow Fabrics, because they sponsor Quick Unpick and they're amazing.
They are.
And I know I mean, I actually think they're pretty dangerous because my whole stash is them now.
I've been avoiding going to any fabric. I actually broke my 1-year fabric ban when I was in Miami, and I bought some winter fabric, but it was just like, no, I have a wall of fabric.
Yeah,
I need Claire. Claire, come, because Claire, I know, helped you on yours. Claire, come back and help me. Claire, help me. My friend Jackie as well. I thought she was online. Jackie, they come here and support, like, help, because it's overwhelming, isn't it? When you get stuff like it was overwhelming.
Rachel, do you remember our plan that maybe we should go back to at some point now? Hopefully going to be better very soon. About our stash invaders. Do you remember?
Yes, we should do it. We should do it. Let's do it.
I start a YouTube series where we went to people and went and looked at their stash.
I think that would be so good. So good. People should say who do we should go, and we should try to go. I think this would be amazing.
Yeah.
And we could swap as well. We could take one fabric to another house.
Like that. Right, we're brainstorming. We're back in.
Yeah, everyone can join the brainstorming.
Oh, it's so lovely to talk to you. And the other thing I just have to mention is, if anyone wants to become a member, I've set up a thing on Coffee, and I'll do a link to that as well. But I'm talking absolute rubbish. What am I talking about? But I'm doing a monthly vlog, which is kind of like a bonus thing. And I've just been filming before this, so it's like a behind the scenes. And if you're interested, come and join the Gabberdashlers. So yeah, so that's kind of my bit. But yeah, thank you so much, Rachel. It's a joy to talk to you. Thank you everyone for joining us, and see you next time on Quick Unpick. Should I tell you who's coming on next week?
Yeah, come on. Megan! I've been loving watching. Oh, because everyone's so much fun. I love it.
I'm very lucky to be doing this because it's like the best start to my set. Like, yeah, I'm starting my week on a Sunday now. This is the best. All right, lots and lots of love. Oh, a cat has just come into the room, so I better find out who that is.
Yes.
Okay, lots